welcome to London, England. Giants Live, the world's strongest man qualifying tour has rolled into town. We're over in the East End of London at the Excel Arena, a part of a giant fitness expo.
The whole event is called the IFBB British Grand Prix and Expo Weekend. That is because the headline event is the IFBB Pro Bodybuilding, which we brought back to the UK after 7 years. We've got arm wrestling and grappling, we've got MMA, we've got the fitness models. We've even got BMX and skateboarding, which we're trying to bring a new dimension to muscle and strength sports because, let's face it, strongman, bodybuilding, they are extreme sports. And loads of other things going on with all the trade stands and seminars. We've got the Giants Live Strongman, of course, which is one of the biggest events, which is going to be a major crowd puller, and the expo is filling up already, as you can see. But let's face it, London is the best place to have it. It's the centre of Europe, you could argue, and the venue, the Excel, is an absolutely fabulous venue, and you can't beat it, really. So we're trying to make it an international event, although it's on British soil. I think in total, between all the sports, must have getting on for 1,000 competitors, which is great. As for football, for the punters, about 5,000 a day, I would reckon, which is good going. And obviously we've got the evening show as well, which will add another couple of thousand.
The day before was a pre-qualifying contest to get to the big show. Gary Gardner came in third and booked himself a slot. In second position, it was the Estonian Lauri Nami, who was a surprise package, coming in second. And the winner of that day was Rafel Wilczynski from Poland. Super powered, could he do some damage up against the big guns at the Giants Live?
Hi, welcome back to Giants Live.
Well, here's the lineup of professional athletes invited. Stefan Solvi-Peterson of Iceland, Brian Shaw of the USA, Laurence Shahlaei of England, England's strongest man, Darren Sadler from Borough Bridge, Northern England, a tough competitor, Ricardo Nort, the first ever Brazilian at a major international, Vytautas Lalas, who is Lithuania's #2, but that's saying a lot. Terry Hollands, the local boy, the giant from Dartford, and Mark Felix of Blackburn, England. Alex Coleto, the Italian, rounds out the field.
First event today is the last man standing deadlift. Very easy. All you got to do is bend over and pick this bar up. Problem is, the starting weight is 320 kilos, and the world record is 410 kilos. Now, Derek, 410 kilos, can the world record go today?
Oh, absolutely. I think you have some of the best deadlifters in the world here outside of powerlifting. Even in powerlifting, you have some of the strongest guys. I think Mark Felix, absolutely. Terry Hollands, no doubt about it. And believe it or not, the giant 6'8" Brian Shaw, I think he can even have a go at it. I saw him pull 500 kilos from 11 inches at the Arnold Classic just a couple weeks ago, so there's no doubt in my mind it's going to go today. It just matters who's going to win the event, which is going to be most impressive.
It's a rising bar competition, and Rafel Wilczynski found the early weights too hard. They went out at 350 kilos, so too Gary Gardner. Well, Ricardo Nort hit the opening weight, then went for 395. Strain, but I'm afraid he didn't get it. So the bar goes up once again. We're on to 412 kilograms. These are the men left in. So we're at a world record weight, and it's only round 3. Such is the quality. Gerrit Badenhorst, I remember back in Mauritius when he hit that 410 kilos. A lot of people thought that would not be bettered. Now we have a lineup of men ready to beat it. Alex Coleto of Italy first. Used to live in New Jersey. Now, actually, his home is in the Midlands of England. He's pulled 400 kilos in the gym. You're allowed straps in the strongman deadlift. Everything else, though, is the same as powerlifting in terms of just getting it up on a normal height bar, but I'm afraid Coleto goes out. So he gets given 390 as his mark. Now, Darren Sadler, 395 kilos, his best ever lift. Never gone over the 400 kilo mark, so this is really asking quite a lot, especially when you consider he's the lightest man in the field by a long way. This British crowd would just love to see someone like Sadler hit the world record here in England. Just a last-minute psych up. No, he was really thinking long and hard, and you can see from the smile, I think he thought all along that would be too much. Now, Vytautas Lalas lives in Dublin. Lithuania's strongest man, actually. Zaviskus didn't take part in this year's contest. This guy is a real surprise package. He's almost as wide as he is tall. It's off the ground. Oh, stalls at the knees, and I'm afraid it's a no for Lalas. Turn to Mark Felix. Again, strapping in. Seen Felix do 4:05 before. 4:12 and a half. Quite close. This is a big mental barrier over the world record. The man from England has done it. He gets the down signal from referee Gregor Edmonds. And indeed, Dave Beattie, the two referees, former world champion and world record holder in powerlifting, he'll have enjoyed watching that. Kept it coming all the way, Mark Felix. Drove the hips in, and now it's over to Laurence Shahlaei. Oh, look at the eyes. Reminds me of Bill Kazmaier from the 80s. Super psyched. Shahlaei reckons he's done 420 in the gym. Well, there's a lot of gym talk that goes around. Let's see if he can do it in competition. Oh, fairly easy. Very quick off the floor. Stalled slightly at the top of the hips, but that was a good lift. I think he could be good for 420 even. This will be interesting what weight we choose next, but we still have Terry Hollands and indeed Brian Shaw from the USA to come. Now Hollands actually tore a muscle in his buttocks about 2 months prior to this, and indeed tore some bicep fibers as well, so he's a bit of the walking wounded at the moment. Great lift. That was really smooth from Hollands. He comes from about 10 miles down the road, so there'll be a lot of Hollands fans here.
So, Laurence, 3 Brits have done it now. You, Hollands, and Felix. That's great. World record. Must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels great. To have 3 of us do it, even better. Shows the Brits are strong.
How about Brian Shaw now, last man to go in the round?
Yeah, Brian's going to get this. He's phenomenal. But we're going to try and push him today. I'm sure we're going to make him work hard, at least.
So there's more in the tank.
I got 420 in me.
All right.
So Brian Shaw up next, the giant American, second at World's Strongest Man in 2010.
The deadlift's the king, really. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you know, that's what you walk into the contest and ask the other guys, you know, what are you pulling, you know? And it's just kind of a way, almost in a way, a manhood test. It's kind of like, well, what, you know, how much can you deadlift? It's just the general question between strongmen, and it's, you know, not very often that we get to do a standard deadlift with a standard bar and standard plates and just go for it. I learned a lot from World's Strongest Man last year and took a step back and said, well, you know, I'm in second. You know, I've always thought I had a lot of room to improve, and you know, I still think that. But you know, so far this year I feel good, and you know, I'm in shape. So we'll see how the contest goes. Thank you.
He's a big hit with the locals, Brian Shaw. Hard to miss him, of course, at 6'8". Now, 400, 12.5 kilos. Oh, that was easy. It's hard to believe you are watching such a heavy weight being just ripped off the ground with ease. Well, Shahlaei said he's good for 420. I think Shaw might be good for more. 420 it is on the bar. Referee Gregor Edmonds there in the black cowboy hat, just keeping an eye on the weights. And into the bar comes Mark Felix of Blackburn, England. 45 years old now. Amazing, really. Didn't come to strongman until his mid to late 30s. Take the world record to 420. It's slow. He's got it. Yes, he's got his hips through and the down signal. But boy, did he have to work for that. World record for Felix. I think that is the absolute limit for Mark. Wow, Laurence Shahlaei, goodness me. Totally in the zone. And he's got to be. This is a weight that may well beat all the others, and it certainly extends the world record if he does it. To get a world record on a deadlift, one of the absolute kings of strength movements, if not the king. Oh, he rips it quick. Oh, he's just got to finish that last section off, and he's done it. He has done it. The hips come through, and unlike powerlifting, you are allowed to stall in strongman and jacket up the thighs. That's exactly what he did there. Just kept on pulling. See what that weight does to the metal bar. 420 kilos. Terry Hollands. He always rips it quick. Super fast off the ground, but, well, I'm afraid for Terry Hollands, I think those injuries have finally caught up with him. Well, you really couldn't get any more crowd around the strongman here. The Expo crowd are loving this. Brian Shaw to hit 420 and stay in the contest with Laurence Shahlaei. Likes to roll it in it himself to get over that initial inertia. Some lifters do that. Pops it. Oh, flies off the floor. Goodness me, that was better than his 412.5, and Shaw is definitely still in this competition. Very impressive from Brian Shaw. He is looking good for quite a bit more weight. He might be 6'8", but he's got the arms of a 7'8" man. They're so long, makes deadlifting all the easier. So in comes Mark Felix, hit 420 just. He's the first man out at 430 kilos. So the bar just keeps going up and up. He was right on the limit at 420. This would be a monumental effort if he hits this. If you don't get it at the first time, very, very rarely do you get it at a second pull. No, that's rooted. Good effort. Little wry smile from the old man of the strongman world. He knew he probably wouldn't do that. Gave it a go anyway. Laurence Shahlaei, though, the belief is there. He looks like a man who believes in himself at 430. One thing about Laurence Shahlaei, he is so improved over the last couple of seasons that sometimes a guy like this just has no inhibitions about weights, no barriers, because he keeps improving, has never stalled. He's got to try and get it up the thighs here. He keeps jacking it and jacking it. Get the hips in. Yes, he's been given it. The world record goes to 430 kilos. And it's right back at you, Brian Shaw. He's wasting no time, Shaw. He wants this. Charging in. Almost forgot to do his belt up there. Just using the blue Iron Mine straps that so many of the top lifters use. Keeps his grip strong. Well, that's the first time he's really stalled up the thighs, but it's an easy enough lift. 430 looks good. And if you were a betting man now, you'd bet on Shaw. He looks solid there. The weight did just drop a little bit before he attacked it again. Well, Shahlaei, they're talking about what weight to go to now. They've called for 440, and Shahlaei's played some games here. He's now pulled out, so it's Shaw who goes for another world record to stand alone. 440 kilograms, 970 pounds. Does he have it in him to take the world record again? Oh, it's stuck, and he just didn't have the energy to keep going. He did 3 or 4 good attempts up the thighs there, but it was absolutely stuck. Well done indeed to Brian Shaw, but in the end it's a draw for Shahlaei and Shaw with a new world record, 430 kilograms. St Catherine's Docks in East London. Used to be the home of shipbuilding. Now it's the home of the Excel Arena. Today, it's all about strongman.
Our next event is the Farmer's Walk here at the Expo, but it's the heaviest Farmer's Walk there's ever been in Giants Live. 187.5 kilos in each hand. Has to be run up 16 meters, run back. Terry, you're not going to be doing any running, though. You're injured.
Yeah, I'm out, unfortunately. I'd really like to have had a go at this event, especially with that kind of weight. It's a real good event for me normally when they're a bit heavier. So, yeah, I'm disappointed I can't do it, but I'm excited to see the other guys have a go.
60 seconds in which to do it. This kind of weight, obviously you wouldn't ever do it injured now. It's just too hard, isn't it? But can it be completed?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe Laurence, Mark, Felix, Brian will all finish it no problem, to be honest. They're all coming in really good shape, all really strong guys. Guys like Stefan as well will have a good go at finishing it, and it should be exciting.
Well, right after the deadlift, this is going to be very hard on their lower back and their grip.
First out was Lauri Nami of Estonia, couldn't get it off the floor. Ricardo Nort, just a quarter of a meter. Gardner, just over 4 meters. This task was looking impossible. Curletto, 1.2. Wilczynski, absolutely determined, hit 16.9 meters. Rejoin the action. Stefan Solvi-Peterson of Iceland with that dazzling Darren Sadler from Boroughbridge in Northern England. Former world champion at under 105 kilograms in body weight. That's about 245 or under. Sadler's bulked up a lot since then, but Stefan Solvi-Peterson has the charge on him here. The weights just have to go over the line by a fraction and then turn and go, but the pickup, oh, it's difficult. Well, he's passed what Wilczynski did. Can he make it all the way to the line? Yes, he does. 28.57 seconds for Stefan Solvi-Peterson, the Icelander, demanding the applause from the crowd. Quite right too for Sadler, though. Oh, he's still fighting on. He's such a tough guy, Darren Sadler. A real do-or-die attitude with the Yorkshireman. That's it. They're going no further. 20.6 meters. Hulk Hogan look-alike in the crowd there. There's some real characters who've turned up to this expo. So many different sports going on. Mark Felix up next. He's against Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania. Well, we know Felix has a great grip, very quick at this kind of event. But Lalas, too, a real surprise package when it comes to the speed stuff. You really cannot appreciate how heavy these are. Lalas has made it over the line. He got a lucky slide there. This concrete floor is proving to be quite slippy. But it's Felix who's away to beat Pedersen's time. 23.28 seconds. And that is Felix into the lead. A great time from the Blackburn-based man. One last effort from Lalas. That's all it needs. It's over. 38.93, solid effort. Well, Felix, that huge grip of his was never going to give in. It all came down to how quick he could run with these weights. Final pairing, Brian Shaw of the USA from Denver, Colorado, who was second in Istanbul a couple of months prior to this, and Laurence Shahlaei of Bristol in Western England. Well, he's not actually Bristol, it's a place called Gloucester, not too far away, and the two of them are up and off, and it's Laurence Shahlaei who is shot out of a gun, so quick. Well, this is surprising. I thought Shaw might get the better of him here, the man who finished second at World's Strongest Man last year, but no, it's England's strongest man, Laurence Shahlaei, who also manages to duff up Mark Felix's time, and that's a win. 21 seconds for Shahlaei. And Shaw, who many fans turned up to see and thought would wipe the floor with everyone, 35 seconds, not so today. He's got a fight in his hands. And I think Shahlaei made a good move not trying 440 kilos in the deadlift. Shaw is a little tired, perhaps.
Laurence, you chose not to do another weight after 430 kilos, and I think it clearly helped in the farmers, didn't it? Was that tactics?
Yeah, we've got a really tough day today. Every single event is big, big weights. You know, there's no joking about weights today. These are proper strongman weights. And that deadlift, it was hard, you know, 430, it's a 20 kilo PB for me, so it's a massive PB. There was no point in trying the 440. I was glad Brian tried it. I think he actually would have got 5 kilos less, but he went for the big weight, and it worked out in my favor.
Did that help your farmers then?
I think so. I think it might have took a little bit out of Brian. I know what it's like competing a lot now internationally, and you've really got to learn to pace yourself. I'm feeling tired after 2 events, so I need to try and recover and keep going.
Next event, Axel. Good event for you? It is, isn't it?
It is a good event. I haven't been able to train as hard as I'd like, and the 2 events we've just done have taken a bit out of me, so I actually don't expect to see anyone do massive weights today after what we've done. But it's all about placings. So if I can place top 3 in this event, it's another good performance.
Well done.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Shahlaei with the victory, 21.83 seconds ahead of Felix in second. Stefan Solvi-Peterson down in 3rd position. Overall then, Laurence Shahlaei leads. Mark Felix in second, Shaw in third. Remember Shahlaei leading back in Ukraine last year. Can he hang on for the victory this year? Well, we're down in East London at the Excel Arena in Docklands, the site of the London 2012 weightlifting Olympics.
Next event is the last man standing Apollon's axle. Another maximum weight event. You have to pick the axle up to your chest, press it overhead. Now, of course, we've seen the world record back in Turkey go up to 210 kilos. We're not going to see that today, are we?
No, we're not, because the strongest guy on Apollon axle, we have to face it, it's Vytautas Lalas by far. But anyway, you know, I think we're going to see some great presses here today. Laurence Shahlaei already surprised me by doing so good in deadlift, by setting a personal best with 20 kilos.
Well, let's not forget, Laurence Shahlaei in Turkey did 205 kilos.
Gary Gardner failed the opening lift of 155 kilos. Coleto, he too struggled. Ricardo Nort, again, 155 was too much. Mark Felix, though, hit that and went on to do 165. Wilczynski hit 175 and then failed 180. So we join the action with Stefan Solvi-Peterson trying to hit 195. We still have Brian Shaw in the contest, Lalas, Shahlaei, some big names still. This is the original prototype Apollon's axle made for the world's strongest man. And I'm afraid Stefan Solvi-Peterson is at 185 at his best, just over 400 pounds. We've seen that shoulder problem in the past. Darren Sadler, I didn't mention him, he's still in this lineup. And the pocket rocket, as he's often referred to, is an extremely dynamic package. This would be an absolute personal best for him, though, by a long way. And he doesn't have the belly that some of the others have to rest it on. He's got the hardened abs of a lean athlete, but really, you need a bit of a ledge to sit it on. Now here's Vytautas Lalas. Well, no insult, but he does have a bit of a power belly, that helps. But no, he doesn't get it to his shoulders. Something went wrong there, perhaps just hit his windpipe. I think that's exactly what happened. Again, this time he's got it. Does he have the shoulder power? Ha! Amazing, really, 195. And after all that struggle, how easy was the press? His shoulders are ridiculous. Now the turn of Brian Shaw to try and remain with the best. We saw that Laurence Shahlaei did 205 back in Istanbul. Let's see what Brian Shaw can do here. To get it up that 6'8" frame. Big hit with the legs, and goodness me, this man is on form. Well, he might have been a bit slow by his standards in the farmer's walk, but in the static stuff, the deadlift, and now the axle, he looks truly tremendous. Laurence Shahlaei, tied in that deadlift, won the farmer's walk. Did 205 at Istanbul. This should be within his range. Yes, it is. I wouldn't say comfortable. I would say just to no more, really. $205 kilograms on the bar now. This is really world-class lifting. 215, the world record by Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania. Here is his compatriot now, keeping the Lithuanian flag flying. He really struggled to get it to his chest at 195. It's difficult to his chest. The shoulder power, though, is it there at this weight? Just that left arm crumbled a bit. So 195 is his best. And Shaw then, his turn. I think he has the power to do this, you know. He is on such good form at the moment. Certainly would have done this if he hadn't have done the deadlift beforehand. To the chest. Over 450 pounds thrown overhead with ease on what is an extremely difficult implement to lift. The thick handle, the weights at the end don't spin, it's all fixed. Look at this, though. Raw power from a potential world's strongest man winner. You'd have to back Brian Shaw to win it, if not this year, sometime in the next coming 2 or 3 years. But Laurence Shahlaei, so improved, what can the Englishman do? He did this weight in Istanbul. To the chest without a problem. The crowd would just love to see this go overhead. Now he is, I think it's fainting, it's actually cramp. I've seen this happen to Laurence before. So Brian Shaw out on top of his own, back in second on 195 kilos. It's a tie, Shahlaei and Lalas. After 3 events then, it's Laurence Shahlaei still in the lead by 1.5 points over Brian Shaw. In third is Felix, just ahead of Stefan Solvi and Lalas. Well, the action's really heating up here down in the Docklands region of London. We're at the XL Arena.
Event number 4 here at the Expo is all about running, but it's running with a real twist. You have to pick up these 130-kilo barrels, 2 of them, take them down to that 4.5-foot platform. If that wasn't hard enough, you then have to load this 125-kilogram sack. Awkward, to say the least, and you look exhausted, Laurence, but you're in the lead.
I'm in the lead, but I'm really ill. I just went over there to be sick. I've been ill all week, and I was kind of hoping I'd get better, and it doesn't seem to have worked. I just keep cramping up from lack of dehydration and stuff. But I'm in the lead, so I can't give up yet. I'm just going to try this event, see how it goes, and just keep plodding on.
Gary Gardner managed to complete the course in 32.79 seconds. So, we join the action, Mark Felix, former Britain's strongest man. He won the title back in 2004 against Lauri Nami, who was second yesterday at the qualifying contest. So he's done a lot of work just to get here, Nami. Perhaps that fatigue will be catching up with him now. Back for the barrel. The barrel is definitely an easier implement than the sack. And it's the sack that we finish with. Well, showing some good athleticism here, Lauri Nami. He's just ahead of Mark Felix. Picking up the sack is so important, how you do it. And Nami finishes off in style, 31.83 seconds. Felix is just a little bit behind there, 32.88. And Nami is current leader. Now, Rafel Wilczynski lives in Ireland, but is very much Polish. Darren Sadler. And we know a whole lot about this guy, and we know that he's extremely quick. Oh, big mistake from Wilczynski. There's no benefit in trying to throw it down the course. Sadler is on for the lead time here, very much on track. This is good stuff. Sprints back, he's so fit, Sadler. Wilczynski on with the second barrel, looking to beat 31 seconds, and he's just lost a little bit in the pickup of the sack. 32.18, no, he doesn't manage to take the lead. It's all so close. Yeah, you just wonder whether another sack would have been necessary here to really split them apart. 44 seconds for Wilczynski. It is difficult to get a medley just right. Now Lalas against Peterson. Perhaps another sack would just be too exhausting. We'd have a lot of non-finishers. Now Lalas super quick here. But then again, Stefan Solvi-Peterson has shown us time and time again what an athlete he is. Look at the speed of these guys sprinting back. Both men weighing in 150 kilograms plus, way over 300 pounds each guy. Onto the sack, Lalas, 24 seconds. This is going to be the lead, no problem at all for the Lithuanian. He has absolutely smoked that at 26 seconds, 30.94. Well, Peterson goes into second. Look how high Lalas carries the barrel. He's a short man, and he does it to make the load easier. Now Brian Shaw is at the other end of the spectrum in terms of height. He's got that advantage. Shahlaei at 6'3", 1m90 is round about the middle for strongmen these days. Though at the World's Strongest Man finals, I think you'll find probably the average height would be as much as 6'5", almost 2 meters. Shaw drops it on with ease. 26 seconds is now the time to beat. Set by Vytautas Lalas. Don't think he's going to beat that. He's a little bit too pedestrian for that. But goodness me, Shahlaei, well, he said he was feeling sick. Just looks pretty ropey now. 28 seconds for Shaw. It'll be a comfortable second place. I'm not sure Shahlaei will even finish this. He is really struggling. Well, sickness, fatigue, it's all taken its toll. Shahlei's 44.72. We'll see him down in 8th position. He'll no longer have the lead, I'm afraid. Lalas in first, Shaw in second. And that means the big American is in the lead for the first time. Shahlaei slips to second with Lalas just a point behind.
So our penultimate event today is this giant circus dumbbell. It weighs 100 kilograms, that's 220 pounds. It's as heavy as me, and I'm very overweight. And you have to then grab this really thick handle. It's as thick as a Coke can, pick it up to your chest, thrust it overhead. It's not just the weight. Derek, it's the sheer awkwardness of this. Now, you're going to second referee this because you are the multiple world record holder in this. Tell me, just how awkward and how difficult is this?
You know, it's ironic. Of all the events for me to be good at, it's an awkward, goofy event, the dumbbell, the circus dumbbell. You want to know, it tests everything from leg and bicep strength, ironically, when you clean it, to obviously shoulder and, you know, your ability to maintain the lockout. You can see numerous guys are going to have a very hard time with the event. It just sucks, no matter how you cut it. It's very difficult. It's very hard. It's a typical strongman event.
First up, Gary Gardner, and I'm afraid he hit 0 reps with this awkward heavy dumbbell. Nami, the same. Stefan Solvi couldn't rep it either, though he got very close. Laurence Shahlaei, just 1 rep. Wilczynski, I'm afraid it was a big 0 for him. So, we've got 2 of Britain's finest here. Mark Felix on the right against Darren Sadler on the left. A wealth of experience between these 2 men. Darren Sadler, though, has been spending a lot of time recently setting up his own gym in near Borough Bridge. Absolute fitness gym. Darren Sadler then to get the first one up. Felix failed his attempt. 1-0 at the moment. Ooh, again, Felix just has to give it a little more leg. Sadler bangs it out. Finally, Felix gets a rep. 2-1. Sadler in the lead. Only Shahlaei had done 1 before this. Oof. Fails again, Felix. I bet Derek Poundstone on the side here is wishing he could do it. He's so good at it. Now, that was no rep for Sadler. The elbow did not lock. Poundstone is frighteningly good at this. We still have Shaw and we have Lalas to look at as well. Those two guys are normally very good at the dumbbell. Well, Sadler in the end, it's 3 reps. Mark Felix, just 1. Big Brian Shaw, the final pair. He's up against Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania. Underway. Big Brian, he's a whole lot taller, but he actually gets it up quicker. It's 1 apiece. Shaw now just looking over to see what Lalas does. He's angled himself at the Lithuanian. 2 apiece. You wonder whether he'll just try and stay 1 ahead of Lalas. He is very professional, Brian Shaw. 3 for Lalas, 4 for Shaw. 1 more will put him well in the lead. 5 reps. Now Lalas hits his 4th and walks away. Well, what is that all about? I guess he knows he was going to get beaten. Shaw pumps the fist, 6 reps. And that's it, there's no need to do any more. Lalas will get 2nd, Shaw will take the win. Well, I thought all those reps looked pretty good from Shaw, though I hear the referees took 1 rep off him, but it doesn't matter. Still a win for the big Colorado-based man. He is on fine form. As for Lalas, again, they all look good, but being a professional, he decided to pull up early and save his energy.
Well, I mean, people call you Mini Z. Pretty soon you're going to be bigger than Big Z.
No, I wouldn't say so. No. Big Z is just too big for me, you know. I don't have that height. I don't have that stature, you know. But I'm getting there, though. I'm getting there.
The giant dumbbell is won by the giant himself. Big Brian Shaw, 5 reps, and he was comfortably better than anybody else. Overall then, Brian Shaw is driving away into the lead here. Lalas in 2nd. He's, for the first time, gone ahead of Shahlaei. 1 event to go.
Final event here is the Atlas Stones. Of course, it goes from 140 kilos up to 205 kilos. They have to be lifted onto a 4.5-foot platform. I'm here with head referee, former World's Strongest Man finalist, Gregor Edmonds. Gregor, in your day, you were perhaps the best at this. Can these guys actually do that way? I mean, this is a new record for Giants Live.
Yeah, well, the bar has gone up every single year since I left Strongman. And it really has gone up a long way now. The world's strongest man, the last stone, was 165 kilos when I did it. And that was hard then, I can tell you. But now this stone is over 200 kilos. These guys are amazing.
Well, the 3rd stone's 170 kilos. So back then, the final stone was lighter than the 3rd. Brian Shaw reckons he's done 240 kilo stone in the gym. So I think they'll manage all 5. But how quick?
Gary Gardner, 5 stones in 23.49 seconds. Nami, just 4 in 27. Rafel Wilczynski hit the 5 in 33.7. Peterson, all 5 in 21.56. Dazzling Darren, 5 in 32.9. So Mark Felix then knows he's got to try and get under 20 seconds if he wants to guarantee himself a win here in the stones, or at least put the pressure on the likes of Brian Shaw, who we know is tremendous at the stones. So far so good. Little slip there on the 4th. Now to this Big Daddy 5th. Makes it look easy. And Felix, 22.2 seconds is a good time. A lot of British fans enjoying that. Now, it's not lost on the crowd that Laurence Shahlaei has lost his 2nd place position to Vytautas Lalas and needs a good stones here to hang on to 3rd. He did an awful stones in the previous Giants Live in Istanbul to lose a podium place. There's number 4. This is looking much, much better. And let's not forget, if you get on the podium, you go to the World's Strongest Man finals, guaranteed. And with that stone right there, I think he's guaranteed himself a place at the World's Strongest Man. He should hang on to 3rd, but maybe, just maybe, he's done enough to put the pressure on Vytautas Lalas. It's all down to Lalas now. Who gets 2nd and who gets 3rd? Got to beat that 25 seconds of Shahlaei, all 5 stones. A little bit slow on the 3rd, but perhaps he's taking this slow and steady to make sure he does it. Number 4 was up easily. Now the last one. 5 seconds to beat Shahlaei. He's not going to beat him, you know. Goodness me, and if he doesn't get this up at all, it will mean Shahlaei will take 2nd. Well, that's a huge surprise. Shahlaei, his worst event is the stones. And guess what? It's just got him back up into the silver medal position. Now, Brian Shaw, this is just for show. Ooh, little slip there. Perhaps too much show. Got to make sure he does them properly if he wants to win the final event as well. He's won the overall contest, there's no doubt about that. He is the absolute class act today. Brian Shaw, 20.31 seconds, and that was with a huge stumble. And look at down the bottom, Lalas in 8th and last, Shahlaei in 5th. The overall points then, Brian Shaw is absolutely the champion, but Shahlaei manages to sneak ahead of Lalas. Felix, though, just off the podium, misses out in 4th.
Brian, from start to finish today was just excellent, really. You've enjoyed yourself, I take it?
Yeah, it was a good contest. You know, I was coming in here to have some fun, and you know, I knew I had a good shot at winning, so it was just kind of a comfortable, you know, I really wish I would have pulled that 440 deadlift. You know, I was really looking forward to that, but you know, 430 is not bad, raw, you know, so it was a good day.
Brian, you know, you're now starting to gather up momentum as the favorite for World's Strongest Man. What do you think of that?
You know, I've got a lot of motivation to train for World's Strongest Man. You know, I have not forgotten what happened last year, and that's in my mind. I think about that every single day, and it just pushes me to work harder, and I'll come in ready. It's hard to guarantee a win at World's Strongest Man, and you know, calling myself out like that, I'll put it this way, I will be disappointed if I do not win. How about that?
All right, well done today. No disappointment about today. Bravo. Tremendous stuff.
Thanks, Colin.
Laurence, you're becoming very good at getting 2nd, but you're probably happy with that in the end, aren't you?
With how I felt today, yeah, I'm very happy. The plan was always qualify for Worlds today. I mean, Brian Shaw is such, I mean, Kaz said it himself, he's the freak of strongman, he's a freak of nature. But today, on some of the events, it showed like he's not unbeatable. And I truly believe that. I believe if I can stay 100%, stop cramping all the time, he's beatable. As good as he is, on the right day with the right events, I can take him.
Well, it was Vytautas Lalas, sadly for him, on the stones, who lost 2nd place. He goes to the World's Strongest Man in 3rd position from this Giants Live, receiving his trophy from Sven Karlsson. Laurence Shahlaei, joint world record holder in the deadlift. 2nd place for him today. Maybe one day he will win and beat Brian Shaw, but not today. Shaw is the champion and looks very good for winning the World's Strongest Man title at the end of the year. Well, that's it for this episode. Join us next time in Poland. Till then, goodbye.